This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
You need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to
Google
or whatever it is.
Oh, this is just going to keep getting worse, isn't it? Let us take a few moments to enjoy the glorious collapse of the soon-to-be has-been drama queen that is Dawn Lamont. Now, that clip of a few moments ago made the rounds, and there is still some fallout from it, bizarrely, and it only seems to be getting worse, which is great. Because let's be real, the only reason why Dawn is still there is because of his sexual orientation. Very weird world we live in, where the sex of the orifice you decide to stick your wang in somehow greatly impacts your capacity to retain employment status. Now, the person being discussed there was Nikki Haley, who was running to finance her bank account. Running for president. She's polling at 3%, by the way. She has no shot in hell. She's the Carly Fiorina of the cycle. And if you don't know who that is, well, case in point. I read this article a while ago, and for the life of me, I can't find it. And it still annoys me, actually. And it detailed why some people, even if they know they're doomed to crash and burn, why they still run for office. It's literally just a giant cash-grabbing scam. That's it. Nikki, I could swear she was described somewhere as Clinton in heels after the cringe-worthy Clinton-esque "it takes a woman" moment that went viral, probably for all the wrong reasons. It's weird that she gets called Clinton in heels, considering heels is supposed to denote a female. And Clinton is, well, a demon, but anyway. It's funny that Dawn called Nikki past her prime, yet had no problem with Clinton's age despite her being centuries older. Seems to me prime in leftist La La Land has less to do with biological reality and more to do with the political affiliation, which makes Don's statement even stupider considering his past simping for Democratic candidates who are much older. But anyway, I want to read this just because the details are juicy and they're funny. So let's turn to Breitbart's John Nolt. Disgraced Dawn Lamont is melting down and it's glorious. Oh, do tell us more. CNN's Dawn Lamont, and I will keep pronouncing his name that way because it amuses me, is in the middle of a career meltdown, and I hope all decent people are taking the time to stop and enjoy it. Sometimes we miss it when wonderful things happen. We're all so busy going about our day that we fail to see the beauty of life right before our eyes. Sure, we can always look back and smile, but that's not the same as embracing and enjoying it in real time. And in real time, Dawn Lamont is destroying his disgraced career. So I thought it was important to point that out so that we can share this moment together. Let's start with the obvious, ratings. Dawn Lamont was already delivering humiliating ratings during his primetime show. He's so awful that in a country of 330 million people, not even 500,000 tuned in. But why would anyone watch a guy who's been incredibly accused of sexual assault and who spent years lying to his audience, race betting, and encouraging domestic terrorism? I get the feeling he's being rather blunt, don't you? So what did CNN do with this proven failure? Well, newly installed CNN chief Chris Licht, who was obviously hired to finish CNN off for good, looked at Dawn Lamont so that he could check 2 diversity boxes and move the aging anchor to mornings. CNN's previous morning show, New Day, was a ratings catastrophe, so Licht likely saw this as a safe move. I mean, the ratings couldn't get any worse, right? Right? And now the ratings are at a 10-year low. To be fair, CNN's morning's humiliating ratings are not all Lamont's fault. His co-anchors, Poppy Harlow and Kaylin Collins, have all the charm, warmth, sex appeal, and charisma of a first wife. Oh, damn, that's rather spicy. Can I even say that? I probably said worse. And so here we are. The 56-year-old Lamont might not be terribly bright, but he's also not dumb. CNN this morning is it. If the show doesn't succeed, his next move is to Has-Beenville, is to Didn't You Used to Be Dawn Lamont, is to Twitter rantings next to Keith Olbermann. Him and Keith should do a buddy show. new sitcom. And how is Don Lemon handling this pressure as he stares into the abyss of his career? Well, that's the great part. He's having a total meltdown right before our eyes, which is something I don't want you all to miss. Just a couple of weeks ago, we learned that Lemon was screaming at his co-host Nurse Ratched for interrupting him or something. God, he's not holding back, is he? I found that kind of sus, because Don claims he grew up in a house full of women, which does explain a hell of a lot, actually. But if you grew up in a house full of women, if you're not interrupting, you're not getting a damn word in edgewise, let's be honest. So I'm not quite buying the interrupting angle, sorry. And then on Thursday, lol, Don Lemon said women over 40 aren't in their prime. He said that on air. He said that in front of 2 women. That is meltdown behavior. Lemon is freaking out over his imminent career demise, which has made him desperate. So he was almost certainly looking to create a moment by 1. Torpedoing 51-year-old Republican Nikki Haley's attack on a 187-year-old Democrat Joe Biden, and 2. Alpha male the discussion. And what did he do instead? The idiot torpedoed himself. After publishing a mewling apology on Twitter Thursday afternoon, we learned on Friday that Don has the day off. Yes, Don did not appear on CNN this morning. Why? Because Don is melting down. This reminds me of Fredo's year-long meltdown, which I also enjoyed. Like Lemon, Chris Cuomo is a spoiled, entitled neurotic, and like Lemon, Chris Cuomo could not get out of his own way. Cuomo was eventually fired, and now Don has the day off. Instead of being a professional and doing the job, which is the only thing that will save his career, Lemon is wearing hoodies, screaming at co-workers, and spewing anti-science stuff about women peaking at 40. And this is so much fun. Now, something I gotta address, because I've seen a few people say, oh, this was a Chad move by Lemon. Get fucking real. He's a gay dude with a fruit for a surname. That level of parody alone instantly disqualifies you from ever doing anything Chad. Secondly, and this is the Book of Chad according to the Cutlery Code over here, anything that you do that's based on Chad needs to benefit you. It needs to get you props in some or other way. He looks like an ass now, and he's not gonna get more people to watch his show. It's already shite. So how beneficial is this to Don Lemon exactly? He's a near 60-year-old f***it, long past his prime, ironically, demoted to a failing show that's going down faster than he does. Don Lemon's existence in this scenario is the perfect metaphor for the current leftist political paradigm. So what exactly is the payoff for this move? Because let's be real, this is the battle of the diversities. We have a gay black dude versus 2 white dudettes. That's it. First off, what did he say? Haley's past her prime, and when asked, prime for what? He says if you Google it. That is a feckless response. He didn't even have the balls to explain his answer. He wussed out like a little bitch. Secondly, the man is on a failing TV show, abysmal ratings after he got demoted, which should tell you something already, and he's sitting next to 2 younger white women talking about female prime, and he can't even define it in a context. So what is he trying to say, that roughly no woman over the age of mid-40s should be public servants? Moving on, let's try and look at the situation rationally, shall we? Anyone with common sense knows the prime he was referring to was a woman's child-rearing years, which is 20s, let alone 30s, never mind 40s. Sorry to be Mother Gaia's messenger over here. Apparently acknowledging biological reality is somehow sexist and offensive these days. I don't quite know why. Probably because politics and Don Lemon has something in common, if you catch my drift. Secondly, Don, you dim-witted oof, you're talking about a woman running for president, which has bugger all to do with child-rearing. Which begs the question, what in the holy hell was the point of saying this stuff out loud? On the one hand, you look sexist and rather insensitive, and on the other hand, a clueless idiot because your point is utterly unrelated to the task at hand. If anything, the 2 women sitting next to him had the perfect shot on hand to sock him on either side of the face, giving 2 black eyes like a fucking panda. Then we see this. Don Lemon apologizes to CNN staff on morning editorial call. I believe women of any age can do anything. And I believe you're an idiot, Don, because factually that's not freaking true. And considering your original point was biological accuracy, if misplaced, now you come out and say this, offering up this limp-wristed attempt at an apology to save face by pushing a straight-up lie. Congratulations, now you look kind of sexist, dishonest, stupid, and ill-tempered. That's about all I've got to say on this one. What an absolute pillock.